Welcome back to the 4-8 Men podcast. And if this is your first time listening, then I guess just welcome to the 4-8 Men podcast. I'm so stoked for my guest today. His name is Ben Boulware. Ben is an athlete who played football at Clemson University, and now he is a multiple gym owner of the Junkyard in South Carolina. He's also a soon-to-be husband and just an overall awesome guy. So, Ben, welcome to the podcast.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy. I love that. That's probably the best response.
Is the South Carolina? I'm in Abbeville, so I got to do the howdy, howdy, howdy.
That's probably the best response I've gotten to an intro yet. I love that.
I don't know really how to respond. It's like, "What's up, dudes?"
Thanks for that. But so you are somebody that I've looked up to for the past few months now, just following you along. And I grew up watching you play football at Clemson, and something that I really admire about you, and it's maybe something that I'm jealous of, but I definitely look up to, is that you managed to run about 10 miles, have a quiet time, and eat breakfast before I ever wake up in the morning. So where does your discipline come from, and what keeps you motivated?
So this all probably started. I feel like I've always been somewhat of like a disciplined individual. I really started kind of nailing it down last year. So last January, I was about 270 pounds. So I was a thick boy. And I'm barely 6 foot, give or take. If you're an NFL head coach, I'm going to tell you I'm 6'2". I'm really about 5'11" and 7/8. So stockier end cannot hold 270 pounds. And just was in a sloppy place last year, and I was like, I just need to light a fire under my butt, do the most difficult thing that I can possibly do. So I signed up for an Ironman and convinced about 7 people that are on our staff at the Junkyard. And from January to November 6th of last year, I really had to be good at creating time. We only got 24 hours in a day. And with us running our business, having at that time about 25 people on our staff, you really, really have to create time. So last year, I had no other option. Being in the fitness industry, owning a gym, we have really early classes to focus on myself and get my own time in if I don't do that super early. So if I open up, we have a 5:15 class. The coaches that usually open up get there around 4:30, and after you do a 5:15 or a 6:30, the day's starting. There's just stuff that starts piling in. And I'm like, this is gonna suck, but I got to get up earlier than that. So I got used to the 3:30 alarms all throughout last year. When you're having to run, you're having to bike, you're having to swim, and you have to really nail down those 3 disciplines when it comes to try. And then having to nail, like on some days, double up, where you can do, like you're having to bike and then go run 4 miles after, or swim and then go straight into a run. So you just really have to get good at creating time. We did the Ironman. We did Ironman Florida, November 6th, and lost like 70 pounds. I got down to, I started at 270. I did the race at about 200. I got down to 190, which for me just looked disgusting. I haven't been 190 since 7th grade. And, but it just felt really good, burned off all the weight. And after the race, December of this past year, so like, I guess 2 months ago, was just chilling. Like the whole past year of my life, I've just been so disciplined physically that it was really tough for my fiance and my faith, because I didn't really do a good job of like prioritizing my faith, my future wife, and then also running a business. So December I chilled. I just tried to reflect, really kind of reorganize my priorities. And I've, over the past 4 months, got back in a really good spot. Me and her have had good conversation. So a month ago, I signed up for a 100-mile race in Arizona, which is going to suck so bad. And I've just, again, got the goal now is to obviously make sure my priorities stay my faith, my fiance, then fitness and our business. So that's the challenge. I want to be able to balance all of this, having 4 gyms, about 50 people on a staff, getting married, building a home this year, running a 100-mile race, all the while like just not being a turd and trying to stay faith focused every single day. And I know that hopefully come October 29th, or it'll be 30th, because it's going to be about a 30-hour race, that I know if I can do that race while balancing all this stuff, I'll be stoked. You know, I'm like, the kids are nothing. I can done all this for the past year while balancing it all. But you really, kind of going back to your question, you've got to create time and do it long enough where it's just, there's no motivation. Like this morning, I ran 7 miles and it sucked, dude. Like stomach was hurt, and
You were up at like 3:30 this morning, I saw.
well, so this morning, I had to do a 70-minute run. Our 5:15 class starts at 5:15. Then we have a 6:30. Then at 8:15, 9:30. We have a lunch class. There's a 4:10, 5:20, 6:30. So we have 8 classes a day. So if I don't do it early, there's no other time for me to get it done. And I have to do it because I know that I am running 100 miles October 29th. And I'm either going to be prepared or I'm not. And I don't want to look like an idiot, you know? So that's why I enjoy these challenges, because they kind of hold me accountable. I know Halloween in Arizona, that thing's happening with me or not. And I want to be prepared so I don't look like a freaking idiot. So, but I had a meeting this morning at 7 a.m. at our Clemson location with those general contractors. And then I have this HR meeting at 12. So I immediately drove from Clemson to here. I had coffee in Abbeville to do this. And I'm about to go meet with this HR department and try to sell the gym. And then I got to go to Greenville to approve our signage at a sign company for Clemson. So if I don't do it early and often, it ain't happening.
Well, I was going to say, just to encourage you, you have such a high capacity, because those are all such big things in life, and especially, you know, only at 27, that's pretty crazy. So that's awesome. But even thinking about training for the 100 miles and, like you said, balancing faith, your fiance, and fitness, like that's such a, not only a physical place to get to, but that's also super tough mentally. Like being up at 3:30 every morning, that's so mentally tough, yeah. So
that's when I talked to a bunch of people that have done ultras. They're like, y'all have done an Ironman. We know the physical, your capacity to, it took us 12 and a half hours to do. I was trying to be a sub 10 time. I did a half Ironman and I was shooting to be under 10 hours for this full Ironman. The conditions were awful, and that was where the biggest probably mental test I've done. When we did Ironman Florida, the conditions were rough. So we ended up swimming 3 miles. It's supposed to be a 2.4 mile swim, and it was so choppy and so rough. 500 people dropped out of the race, out of the 2,500, just out of the swim, because it was like a hurricane out there. The guy that won the race, a guy named Lyle Sanders, who's done 1 million tries, he was like, that was the hardest Ironman that I've done, specifically the swim, because the conditions were so bad. So getting out of that, then having to do 112 miles, and then having to run a full marathon after already working out for 8 hours, you get into some dark places, and your body already just feels like trash. So the mental challenge with the Ironman was a challenge. So now getting into ultras, everyone just dude, you have the legs for it, but mentally, are you tough enough? So we'll see. I would like to think I'm a mentally tough person. This morning, I woke up, took a shower, and started my day off with AG1 from Athletic Greens.
Usually the last few weeks, I've just been trying to get my AG1 in throughout the day at some point. But the last few days, I've been drinking it in the mornings, and it's helped me out so much throughout my day. I started taking Athletic Greens because I wanted better gut health, I wanted more energy, and I honestly hated taking pills and vitamins, and I wanted to see what all the hype was about. I've been taking AG1 from Athletic Greens now for several months, and I love it because it doesn't taste like it's something that's super healthy. It has a mild and a smooth taste, and I really do feel like it gives me more energy. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. Last time I had shared that my family wasn't very fit, and my dad actually called me and was pretty offended. So I told him I was going to send him some travel packs from AG1 because he travels a lot and he can take it with him wherever he goes. My wife and I travel a lot, and a lot of these places we go to, there aren't many healthy options, which is why I really do love to bring my AG1 from Athletic Greens. It comes in these little packets that you just rip off the top, and it pours perfectly into a bottle. It's the perfect thing to travel with. AG1 is lifestyle friendly, so whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, it meets your needs. They contain less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good, and supports better sleep quality and recovery. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/huff. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/huff to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. I literally can't imagine. I can hardly swim 100 yards, let alone 2.4 miles.
It's awful. When I first started, I swam 100 meters and literally rolled on my back and started just like breathing because I couldn't do 100 meters. And with swimming, I was just
especially trying to swim at 270.
Dude, thick. I was a nose tackle trying to swim pretty much. And I'm not built for swimming, obviously. So doing it consistently helped a lot where I got some swimming lungs. And my parents live on the lake in the upstate. So like I had a place where I can consistently go, and just doing it over 9-10 months. I mean, I wasn't freaking Michael Phelps, but I could do 2.4 miles and not die. So, but it sucked, dude. Yeah, I'm going to do this 100-miler, and we'll see what happens with try after. But the swimming, that swim in Florida, I was trying to be an hour 10, ended up walking out of the swim at an hour 50 because the conditions were so bad. So imagine swimming for 2 hours straight.
That's the thing.
Awful.
I don't even like riding on a boat for 2 hours straight.
Right. You get freaking seasick.
Let alone swimming. I couldn't imagine. But would you say swimming was, like, out of running, biking, and swimming was swimming the most kind of mundane part to train, or what?
Yeah, difficult.
Most difficult.
Yeah, that was definitely the most difficult discipline because I was starting out a thick 270, and like the biking, I've over the past couple of years, like I've gotten into biking. I never really biked like more than 20-30 miles, so I wasn't like super good at that. I ain't ever swam, and that was definitely the most difficult. Then biking, I enjoyed that. Once you do 112 miles, though, it's not fun anymore. It just sucks. And I really enjoyed the running, and I don't really know why, or I know why actually. So I started running to worship music, and at our gym or at our HIIT studio. So we're a HIIT studio. We're not it's not a Planet Fitness. So we're like one of our biggest competitors is Orange Theory, which I imagine there's a million Orange Theories. There's probably 1-2 minutes from you. They're like one of our biggest competitors. We'd fall into that category. But we do all of our workouts to music. So we made this code that you plug an audio file into the code, and it creates a visual of like music beats. So we do all the workouts to music, and the code it kind of looks like Guitar Hero. You can look on our Instagram, you'll be able to see a visual, but there's just music beats going across the screens in our studio. And So I love music. It's one of the big pillars of our business. It's like how we work out. It's like the interval of the music. And I started working out to worship music. And I created this like worship workout playlist on our gym Spotify. And dude, I've never like found, obviously I like have my quiet time, super peaceful, but like running a long distance, there's some good Hillsong or some Elevation or some Maverick City. It's nuts, dude. It's such a peaceful space to be in. And that's when I would do my like 10, 15, 20 mile runs. I put that bad boy on shuffle and would be screaming, singing the lyrics. And I really enjoyed that space. So that's what I love the most is the running. And that's all. Like this morning we were 3:30, that we had Hillsong on loud in the gym running to it. And it's, if I don't have my quiet time, so I have these little reminders on my phone so I have like business goals, personal goals, and at the top. So I try to have, it's backwards now, but either having a quiet time or worshiping every day. And like days like today, I didn't have time to get my quiet time, but dude, I listened to worship music for an hour 10, 70 minutes straight, shuffling that playlist and spending time with the Lord. You know, 'cause I don't think it always has to be, everyone's race is different. I don't think it always has to be, there's obviously a lot of like tangible things that you can get out of digging into the book. And I think that's obviously the best thing, but life happens sometimes. And the only thing you can do is freaking blare some worship music and run to it. I feel like it gets you closer to the Lord.
That's so cool you said that, because I actually have I literally have a playlist on my phone called Worship Workout that I curated a little while ago. But I typically say like on this, because I'm the same way. Like I don't necessarily run miles. I don't necessarily run long distance. That's not my thing yet. I would like to get there at some point, but that's not my thing yet. But I do love to go work out at the gym, and I have to listen to worship music when I'm working out. Because I mean, for me personally, well, first off, it just puts me in such a headspace where we're just, our day-to-days never look the same. Every day looks different. So if I can have a set thing of when I go to the gym, that's going to be a version of my quiet time. That's not my only quiet time, but it's going to be, like you said, if I don't get a chance to read during the day, then I'll have an hour to fully listen to worship music while I'm in the gym. And that puts me in such a good headspace. And if I'm listening to secular music, or if I'm listening to something that's not worship, then I get so quick to think about my appearance and what I look like and all these different things. But if I'm listening to worship music, then it puts me in such a, I don't want to say, I guess positive mind space, but it just, I don't know, I'm more patient with people in the gym if they're on some equipment that I need to be using. Like I don't know, it just helps me feel better. And so that's something that I've really incorporated the last year is every time I'm in the gym, whether it's running or working out or whatever, it's, like you said, it's just blaring worship music. And sometimes I'll literally be in the gym, like, raising my hands, and I'm like, I probably look like an idiot to somebody right now.
Like an idiot. Yeah, and I'll be running just, like, hands open, screaming, like, singing. Because you get on Spotify, you swipe up, you can read the lyrics. And a lot of those songs are, like, Old Church Basement by Elevation and Maverick City. Those songs are so well written. And being able to legit scream at the top of your lungs is awesome. It's an awesome space to be in. But doing that and then going at our gym, we play trap music. We play legit stuff that like freaking Young Dolph, Lil Wayne. Like we're playing some hardcore stuff. And once you listen to enough worship music and consistently where I see this other secular stuff, I'm just like, I probably should put the clean version on there, because some of the stuff they're saying, you're just like, God, like that's is just not good for the mind because it allows it just to ramble. And one of the things that we've done over the past, we've done it since day one. Like we'll do on Sundays for us, we do active recovery days, and probably one Sunday every quarter, we'll do a worship Sunday where people will come and do an active recovery class. It's like super low impact on the machines because it's treadmill, cycles, and rowers, and then a mat station. And all the mats are like bands and free weights, or like body weight. And we'll throw on some Hillsong, Elevation, Maverick City, all that stuff. And it's such a cool space to be in. That's something we've done for the past 4 years at our studio. And it's been awesome. It's been
awesome.
dope.
So typically, do you do, like, are you kind of at a point now where you don't do much, I guess, weightlifting, you could say? Like, I'm sure at Clemson that's all you primarily.
All we did. Yes, all we did. So I've done barbell stuff and Olympic weightlifting since I was eighth grade, and that's all we did at Clemson. Like, hey, you're gonna do a power clean and a squat, and then accessory work, or you can do a hang clean and a bench and accessory work, or you're gonna go outside and do skills and drills, and you're gonna run stadiums or do like mat drills. But every single day, you're touching that barbell, and a million benefits to that with football. I got to be like, I played my freshman and sophomore year at 230, junior year got up to 245, and then senior year played around 235. So yeah, you need to do some heavy squats to maintain that weight and get off blocks. That could go to a whole other conversation. I think the game's getting so much faster now, where you see a lot of these guys doing a bunch of functional movements and free weights and not as much, 800-pound squats, because no one cares if you can do that. Dude, you're effing your knees up and you're not going to be able to play. So I think they're doing a lot of more functional stuff now. But when I was there, and that's just like with the speed of the game, you learn new things, you have to adapt. But 2013 to 2016, hey, get under this barbell, boy, and put 600 pounds on it.
A lot of times before I go to bed, I get super hungry, but I never have a healthy snack to eat, which is why I love Magic Spoon. So I've been drinking protein shakes for years, but I finally found a delicious way to get in my protein before or after my workouts. So I started eating Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net carbs in each serving. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. They have a variety pack of 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. So my favorite flavors that Magic Spoon has are the cocoa, and Sadie's favorite is the fruity. But I actually sometimes like, if you mix the cocoa with the peanut butter, it tastes like a peanut butter cup. It tastes exactly like regular cereal from your childhood, but it is super nutritious. It's delicious, but super healthy cereal that brings joy to your mornings or afternoons or your bedtime. Go to magicspoon.com/Huff to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use my promo code HUFF, that's HUFF, use HUFF at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/Huff and use the code HUFF to save $5 off. Did you enjoy that kind of training, that style of training?
At that point in my life, I loved it. It applied to my life. I needed to do it, and it was helpful. Right now, dude, I don't need to be 240 or like, no one cares in my life if I can bench 500 pounds. I'm going to screw my shoulder up or mess my knees up. So I have not touched a barbell since 2018. When we opened up, all I've done is from 2018 to 2021, all I did was our classes. So like, it's not all cardio. I'm a meathead. My business partner's a meathead. He played football at Newberry and Clemson with me. So we come from like an Olympic lifting background where no one wants to. I'm in the season now of my life where I'm doing ultras. So I was about to say no one wants to run for an hour, and I'm doing that. But most people don't want to hop on a treadmill and run for 30 minutes. So we'll do, hey, you're going to do a lap on the treadmill. So an eighth of a mile or a quarter mile. And then we'll pair that with a functional movement. Same on the cycle, same on the rower, a super short distance, all of them paired with like functional stuff. So that's all I've done. And then 2021 got into the season, triathlon, and then now into ultra. But I still, dude, I smoke what I sell. I love our product. We have a great workout, and I do our classes probably 4 days a week, and they freaking melt people's faces off. They're awful. I'm telling you, dude, they suck in the best way possible.
And I need to come up one weekend and do one.
You definitely should. Greenville is dope. We could show y'all around town, have a good weekend. Our Saturday classes are nuts. It is. You won't find. I'm telling you, dude. Like, I know, obviously, I'm biased because it's like my studio. The energy on a Saturday when you're 40 deep in there and just blaring some good workout music. Look at any review. Go to Google, MindBody, Facebook, Instagram. I'm telling you, it's nuts. Sorry, I had to do a subtle plug of our my business.
You definitely need to. No, because it's super legit, and you're proud of what you built. So that's definitely not a shameless plug. But so just real quick, I did not plan this, but we just talked about your weightlifting at Clemson. I'm just curious, what were your max lifts at Clemson?
Yeah, I wasn't that good. Like I'm built stumpy, dude. So like I don't have long arms. Like my coach Venables, who's now the head coach of Oklahoma, is a dude and this like incredible leader, great husband, father, Christian, and coach. And he used to call me Nubby because I just have short arms and I'm just a stocky person. So I wasn't really, none of my numbers. You see guys now that are throwing up like 800-pound squats, and like one of our linebackers that's built like me, but he's like kind of longer arms, which longer arms kind of hurt when it comes to benching. But he had like, there's a little longer me, so it's perfect. He benches like 550. And I'm like, dude, I have no clue how you do that. And like when I was there, I think the most I ever squatted was 545. And I legitimately almost pooped out my intestines doing it. But it didn't provide any benefit for me. Like, no one cares. It was just to put a number on a 1-rep max sheet. But that didn't provide any benefits for me with football. Luckily, I didn't get hurt. Like, that's kind of pointless nowadays with the game being so fast. But my senior year, did 545 for one and bout, passed out. And then I think the most I ever benched was 365. So in football, the football world now, that's like average as grits. Back in the day, I mean, I was like solid. But you see now throwing up some stupid weight. And I'm just like, I don't get how you're doing that.
550 on bench is just absurd. That is absolutely insane.
Dude, if I got under a barbell now, like a bench or a squat, it would fall through my chest. I did. So in 2018, me and Marcus were really trying to balance out the barbell stuff in our classes. And I got to a point in 2018 where I did 225 for 32 reps. And I was like, and probably the strongest I've ever been in my life. Because at the combine, I did 225 21 times, which is, again, like average for a linebacker. If you can get over 20, you're like, okay, he checks the box. He's not a freaking weakling. But in 2018, got up to 32 and then just stopped. Like I just stopped doing barbell stuff and really got into our classes. And we went to Clemson maybe 6 months ago to do a bod pod, which is just like you do a full body scan. I wanted to see what my body fat was because I was wanting to see kind of the gains that I've made from triathlon. And I was like, they had 220. I was in the weight room at the facility. And I was like, dude, let's hop under this bar and see how many times we can do 225. I got to 8 reps and almost started crying. And on the 10th rep was just like having a seizure trying to get it up. And did 10. And within 2 years ago, I did 32. So like obviously if you don't touch the barbell or with anything in life, you don't do it, you're going to fall off on it. But it was so funny that like 2018, I did 32 reps. The 225 was cock diesel. I couldn't run a mile without about to throw up. And now just kind of shifted that focus. Probably couldn't touch my toes in 2018 either. But now shifted that focus. Hey, dude, I'm about to do 100 miles at now I won't do 100 miles at a 7-minute pace, but I can do a full marathon at about a 7-minute pace. But that barbell would snap me in half. So it just depends on everyone's race. You know, you may love doing barbell stuff, and that's awesome. That's what you want to do. I unfortunately want to run a very long distance and get into the pain cave.
Well, I love that, and that's super admirable. But we talked about you playing football at Clemson, but not only did you play, you were on 2 national championship teams. You won the national championship in 2017, and I think in that year you had like the 3rd most tackles in the ACC. I read, which is just crazy. You were a boss.
I don't know that stat. That's the first time I've heard that stat. I think I was. I've never heard. I don't know. It's a good question. I might. Hopefully, you said Google didn't lie, so if they put that, so
well, there we go. It didn't lie. But this really isn't like a physical question, but just looking back on that time of your life, what was your favorite memory from being at Clemson?
It would definitely have to be the national championship game. That was my senior year. We're in Tampa playing Alabama. In my junior year, we lost to them. We were playing in Arizona, like long game, high-scoring game. We ended up losing at the very end, and I had a trash game. Me and one other guy were the only underclassmen that were on our defense. We had like 9 seniors that were starting, and so it was their last game. I played like just trash and was one of the reasons why we lost, because one of the touchdowns was my fault. So it just was in a bad spot after my junior year. So going into my senior year, I was like, dude, this is my last year. I know the opportunity to win at a high level and play at a high level was super thin, and I'm not about to let some young meathead like I was last year ruin my opportunity. So was just as consistent and as disciplined as I possibly could be in 2016. So when we finally get the opportunity to do a rematch against Alabama, dude, I was wired. Like, we were having extra meetings, like studying film at night, like had notebooks super thick of just like tips and reminders, because I knew flashback last year, hey, I was the dude that screwed up everyone's chance their senior year to win a natty. I'm not letting this happen again. And had a good game. Actually, I got MVP of the game, so I was super stoked about that, because I controlled all of these controllables and was disciplined and took care of business on the back end. I controlled the input, and then now I'm seeing the fruits to my labor, and this output is just taking care of itself. So nail biter of a game. We ended up winning in the last second, and that was the last game of my career. So it was a super cool way to go out, and we hadn't won a national championship since 1981, so it's been 35 years. And then my last game, our team brought it back. So ended up having like a parade through the town a couple of days after, and it was just dope. It was a super sick way to go out, because a lot of people don't have that chance. You need these people playing in the freaking Abbeville Hardware Bowl, as the business across the street. And that's a sucky way to go out. Nothing wrong with Abbeville. I love Abbeville. But like having the chance to go out on top, beating Alabama last second of the game.
Well, I would say beating Alabama in the national championship and being MVP would clearly be the highlight of all the highlights.
Yeah, it was cool. It was and a lot of people just don't know how much time and energy went into that season. If you ask any of the guys on that team, they're actually like, dude, Ben was a Nazi during 2016, because I again just knew that, like, hey, the opportunity to play at Clemson, win a national championship is so small. And I did my best to just get guys uncomfortable and out of their comfort zone, whether it be in winter workouts, spring ball, summer, fall camp. My role was to make people just challenged and uncomfortable when it came to football. And it was cool to see the fruit of
Yeah.
that discipline, you know?
Yeah. Dude, that
So yeah, it was dope.
that literally just would be like so many people's dream. That's so awesome that you got to live that. So we've talked about your training for the Ironmans and you're about to have that the ultra 100 miles coming up. And we've already talked about worship, listening to worship music while you go on these long runs, and even just you being a man of faith. And to me, I love Jesus more than I love anything about fitness. And it's even cool just with all the Ironmans and national championships and all the things you've accomplished. I still think it's the coolest thing that you love Jesus and that you're a man of faith. So while we know what you do to train your body physically for these races and even just day-to-day stuff, how do you consistently train yourself spiritually?
Yeah, it is definitely, it's a battle. I'm definitely not perfect, made a million mistakes, and are still trying to, along with challenging myself as just like a man, then physically, then with my fiance, it is a constant battle just trying to work on my faith, so with like all these things going on, the main thing is that I'm just trying to have every single day either like 20 to 30 minutes of quiet time where I'm just digging deep into the book. If not that, then will run 10 miles to some worship music. If I'm not doing that and I'm having to drive somewhere, I will put on a book, or like I watched I got a couple of close buddies of mine, which is a point I'm about to hit on, are two pastors in town that are just incredible leaders, good dudes. And they're pastors in a big church in our town. And I was like, dude, if there's ever a sermon that you just like, I needed to watch again, what would it be? And within 30 seconds, sends me a link to one of their services last year, and didn't have the opportunity to read or listen. So I watched this sermon. So there's plenty of different avenues, whether it be quiet time, listening to worship music, listening to a podcast, an old sermon, and like tangibly or like relationship wise, I've really tried to surround myself with just good people. And I feel like if you hang around turds, you start stinking, so I've really tried to get out all the turds in my life, and just be around people that are going to challenge me, get me out of my comfort zone, and just push me to like the husband that I want to be, the leader I want to be, the communicator I want to be. And that's been one of a really big thing for me. Like one of my best friends, a guy named Riley Cummings, and he is the campus pastor. It's at a church called New Spring. They have like 15 locations across the state, and he's like 34 years old, 35, so a little older than me, a lot more mature, a lot more wise, but still a super cool dude. I could go and have a beer with this guy, and we could talk for 15 hours. But I feel like it's good for everybody to have a person in your life that is either older, more wise, been around the block, to hold you accountable. It's great having one that's like one of your best friends, but just having like a mentor in life that you consistently can tap into, that will tell you if you're doing something stupid, like, yo, dude, don't do that, or don't go there. You're a freaking idiot. I'm going to punch you in the face if you do that. Like having people that will have a tough conversation with you is good to have, and I have a couple just older dudes in my life that will punch me in the throat if they know I'm about to do something stupid. And you also have you have these turds, or people that are running a different race, are the ones that want to go do those things. So really just kind of, I've been in both. I've been a turd plenty of times and made a lot of mistakes. But I'm in the season now, I'm just like trying to, like one of my goals is to empty the tank. Like that's like my word or phrase for 2022, and whether it be my faith, relationships, Hannah, my fiance, or business, dude. I want to look back I'm 70. I don't know, like, hopefully I'll live longer than 70. I'm 98. Let's say 98. I'm 98, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, you freaking emptied the tank. So I don't know. That's just where I'm at in life. I want to challenge myself, and one of the biggest ways I've done it is just finding people that are just better than me. I don't know. They're just like a lot further along in life. That's what's been really good. For sure.
Yeah, I think we definitely neglect, having people of wisdom around us, and even just having accountability partners. My second guest in the podcast, that was actually his spiritual challenge, was go out this week and find an accountability partner. And even all throughout the Bible, it talks so much about being with the brothers and confessing sins and all these different things. And I think as guys, we can view, struggling with something, or we can view accountability as a negative thing, and kind of as not this manly macho thing, but really we all need somebody to help hold us accountable, to help for us to confess things with. And I think that's something that's definitely missing in our culture, and especially as men, we don't view these simple things, having an accountability partner, as being a thing that a man should do, because it's weak to share your feelings, or it's weak to say you're struggling with something, or to say you're going through something.
Dude, I think you obviously have to first like get in a space that where you like just to be like willing to confess or be vulnerable. And there's a lot of different ways to get into that space, and that's just been like one of the best things for me, like if I have to confess something or get something off my chest. Yeah, dude, let out a cry. I'm going on a tangent. So one of the really cool, I know I kind of hit on the reading a book or worship music or watching an old sermon. This was the coolest thing that I've done. That was probably the most beneficial for me. I drove up to the mountains maybe a month and a half ago, in like North Carolina, with my two dogs. I have these two St. Bernards that are idiots. Like, one's 180 pounds, one's a little puppy. He's like a year old. He's like about 140. So these two meathead St. Bernards, me, and then my dudes of the dogs, and we drove up to the mountains, and I had a Bible and headphones, and went to the top part of the mountain, like the most, like you couldn't get up there. Like I had to go through the woods, like crawl over branches, and found this huge rock, and sat there for about 5 hours and read for about an hour, and then I just turned on some worship music and blared it, and was screaming, singing at the top of my lungs, and did it for like 4 hours, and cried like a little baby. And it was so cool. It was like just a long time, me and the Lord, where I can confess, I can reflect, and I don't know, dude. It was sick. It was really cool. But you have to be in a space where, like, dude, that you can just go to the woods and blare some worship music and sing at the top of your lungs. It was awesome. So, out of the list that I provided, go find you a rock in the woods somewhere and put that Spotify offline because you got no service, and praise.
Yeah. Dude. Do you like the song "So Alive" by Hillsong?
Dude, the most beautifully written song I've ever heard. Like,
on my bucket list is just go stand at the Grand Canyon and just listen to So Alive.
Dude, it'd be sick.
But that's my favorite song of all time.
So I have a couple of tattoos, and I'm trying to finish that. I want to have like a half sleeve. I want to finish out my arm, and I really just I enjoy music. It's like one of the big pillars again of our business. And there's 3 songs that I wrote notes on this, and I have a whole drawing that I've done. But there's 3 songs that I really, really enjoy, and the lyrics are awesome. And one of those songs is "So Alive." And the bottom, I'm going to get it at some point when I have some more bread. I'm spending too much money opening up this Clemson location. And I get some money. The bottom part of my forearm is going to be an ocean, and then like the rocks and the mountains, and then like the skies. So it's like, if the oceans roar your greatness, so will I. If the rocks cry out in silence, so will I.
If the mountains bow down in reverence, so will I.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I'm going to draw up like a portrait of that essentially, and have the lyrics kind of like woven in to like the mountains or the ocean as the waves. And I already have it drawn up, but the best tattoo artist in our town is booked out to the end of the year. And I'm like, dude, she's killing it. It's like a female-owned tattoo studio, and they are ballers. And she's booked for all of 2022. So I'm pissed because I got to wait a little bit. And I'm not going anywhere else because it's going to be super detailed, and she does awesome work. But it'll be good because I can sit back and reflect and make sure I really want it. But yeah, I have the whole thing drawn out, and literally one third of it is so high.
Yeah, man. That song is just. That song has just done so many things in my life. It's just the lyrics are just. I don't think there's ever been a song that's as lyrically descriptive and just. Because a lot of people don't like playing it because there's so many lyrics and everyone always forgets the lyrics. But I'm like, that's why it's so beautiful, because it's not, there's really not a repeating bridge. It's the whole, however long the song is, it's a different continuous flow of just beautifulness. I don't know how else to describe it. It's incredible.
Listing out everything, the ocean, the mountains, the skies, the stars, is so cool. Yeah, they spent some time writing that one out, and they killed it.
They crushed it. So real quick, just because, even just hearing about where you're at now, and I know that faith is a big part of Clemson. I know that Dabo's a believer, and I know that a lot of the things in the program is faith based. So what is your testament? Like, did you grow up a believer? Like, did you have a moment when you got to college, or what's your story?
Yeah, so I actually grew up in church, this church that I go to, New Spring, that my mentor, best friend, is a pastor of. My family started going when we first started. The church started out of like a college basement, like early 2000s, and now they have.
That's why you love old church basement,
right? Exactly, and so my family's been in that been in the church since day one, and both my parents are believers. Incredible, obviously, mom and dad, but just like started us early and often, and we were homeschooled actually. So we were homeschooled to. My mom wouldn't admit this, but we were homeschooled because we all raced motocross, and it was like a job for us. My dad raced, so every weekend we were traveling South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, all over the place to race. And it was helpful for us racing to be homeschooled, so we could get that done early. My mom is not a big fan of the public school system. She is an old school Baptist woman and wanted us to see and learn certain things. So that was put front in mind early. And I actually got a tattoo. So August 29th, you see it? Kind of see it. August 29th. 2010 was the day that I got saved, and I got it tattooed because we do a lot of bad things with our hands. These can be destructible and can cause a lot of problems. And I was like, I'm going to put this on my finger to remind me of my faith, my walk, where I was, where I am, where I'm going to be. And it's been a challenge, with anything in life. It's been an up and down battle, and I feel like I've gotten in the best spot probably in my life right now, where I've just consistently every single day trying to surround myself with some version of the Lord, if you will, whether it be worship music, quiet time, podcast, church, and surrounding myself with just good Christian dudes. And doing that consistently has put me in a really good spot. And and it's bled into every other area. It's made me more disciplined in my own personal health and wellness. It's made me a better fiance to Hannah. It's made me a better leader, maybe a more consistent communicator. So, but I think that has to stay the top priority, because that's what last year it wasn't. I was Ironman, like my own health and wellness, fitness, and then business, and then Hannah, and then it was my faith. And I don't know, that's not you can't have your priorities that way. So I've really this year to say it's every day, my faith, then it's going to be Hannah, then it's going to be my health and wellness, and then it's going to be business. And I think if you start at the top with your faith, then everything else will just bleed down, and it'll be cohesive.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard it's like it's that idea of it's like a triangle. So you have like your stuff down here, and then I kind of got like your stuff down here, and then everything else, like God's at the top of the triangle, then everything else is like flushed out this way, and then it's I think I'm botching it, but it's something like God's at the top, and then
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So I've heard that, but I was gonna say, so you're getting married in like 50 days, but I was gonna say you should have gotten a tattoo of like faith, fiance, fitness, but she's gonna be your wife in a few days, so you'll have to think of another acronym.
Right. Yeah. She'd be pissed if I had that on my arm and come March 26th. Yeah. So March 26th, we're getting married, and then we bought a bunch of land. And so we have like an Anderson and Greenville and a Clemson spot. There's a town in the middle called Pendleton, and got a bunch of land. We're going to build a house, and I wanted to be like centrally located between all three, so I can keep eyes and ears on everything. And I don't know, we like land. I'll give the dogs a lot of room to roam around, and so March 26th would time the
That's awesome, man. Well, super pumped for y'all, and man, this has honestly been one of my favorite conversations. You're actually the first guest that I've had on that I actually did not know personally, so I was super excited to have you on because.
Yeah, did someone just comment on one of your posts and you just slid in my DMs?
No, I think that somebody I saw tagged the junkyard or something, and then I went on a junkyard rabbit trail, then I saw you, and then I remember watching you play at Clemson, and then I saw your bio and you said door holder at I think it's New Springs Church, and I was like, he definitely needs to be on the podcast. So that was kind of how that happened.
Small world.
Well, seriously, man, thank you so much for being on today. But before we get off, the staple of the podcast is our physical and spiritual challenges. I hope throughout the week that people do both, whether it's one or the other. It's something fun to go out and do physically with friends or even by yourself, and then spiritual challenge. It's something to have a reoccurring thing every week to help keep you accountable, like what we talked about. So what physical and spiritual challenge do you give us to go out and do this week?
So I would encourage someone to do what I did this morning early. Get you a 5 to 10 mile run in and throw on some worship music. I guarantee that it'll be the most peaceful and rewarding part of your week. It will suck because you're running a pretty long distance, but throwing on some good worship music will be a good headspace for a lot of people. So get you a 5 to 10 miler in and throw on some workout worship.
Oh Lord. Well, about these challenges is I actually
that was for you. That was for you, brother.
I do them with the people. So well, yeah.
What's the furthest you've ran before?
Shoot, maybe 2.5 miles, maybe 3 miles. I've walked.
Jeez,
I've walked like 12 miles, and then I literally couldn't walk the next day. Actually,
that's a long walk. That's a long day.
Okay, all right. I will run 5 miles. That will be brutal.
5 to 10, and you're the host, so you have to do 10.
I'm stopping at 5. I promise.
Okay, I promise you. Gave you a range, so you can pick 5.
I promise you.
Imagine having to run 26 miles after already working out for 8 hours.
No, see.
How awful does that sound?
I couldn't imagine it. like something,
dude. It sucks so bad.
Like some things, it's like, oh, that would be super fun to achieve, and not that would not be fun, but just thinking about all the things on the back end, just your nutrition, your just every part that goes into that, it seems too mountainous for me. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll get there.
Yeah, it was a suck fest. But yeah, dude, I appreciate your time. It's nice meeting you, and I'm stoked.
Well, hey, we got the okay. So, is the spiritual challenge worship music while you're running? Is that the spiritual challenge?
Yeah. I had them tied together. So
I
get you a
love
little
that.
5 to 10 mile.
So you're the first
listening.
You're the first one to tie them in together. I love that.
Yeah. 2 and 1. It's,
awesome, man.
Was it killing 2 birds with 1 stone? There you go.
There we go. Well, Ben, seriously, man, thank you so much. I know that so many people are going to be encouraged and also challenged by all the things you said. Even just, your discipline with fitness and your discipline to spend time with Jesus is super, super. It's just super affectionate and it's super, just really admirable, man. Really, honestly. So I'm glad to know you. I hope to get to know you more in the future. So
yeah, whenever y'all ever come to the upstate of South Carolina, we can show you around Greenville. We can get a little sweat session at the junkyard.
Hey, let's do it. And if you ever, for some reason, find yourself in West Monroe.
There you go. Well, you come to Greenville, I'll come to West Monroe.
All right, let's do it.
See y'all. Y'all have a good day.
See you, man.